What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am building something today, and I thought I would do a little video on how I'm going to build it. I've seen a few on the internet, but I thought I would just make my own version of this. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to be building a diesel heater in a box. So I picked up one of those cheap Chinese diesel heaters a year and a half ago, the self-contained unit. And it worked great. I just didn't like how top heavy it was. The case it came in wasn't really sturdy, it was pretty flimsy. So I took it all apart and I'm gonna put it in one of those Pelican Apache cases. And I just thought I would document how I built mine. So I got all my parts in finally, and I just thought I'd go over kind of how I'm gonna do this and share it with you guys. And I will link everything I used down in the description so you guys can pick it up yourself. I'm not an affiliate with Amazon or anything, so it's not gonna benefit me, it's just gonna benefit you to maybe find what I'm using. So and I've never done this, so I'll probably make some mistakes, and it's okay, but I think I got it pretty well figured out. I watched a couple other videos and I like what they did. I'm gonna try to do something a little different, and I'll tell you why. But I thought I'd show you what I got, and then I'll kind of go over what my plan is for this. And probably tomorrow I will actually do the cutting and the drilling and the install of this. Today I'm just gonna try to map it out. So the first thing that I've got is I bought a Apache hard case from Harbor Freight, the 4800, which fits my 5K heater perfectly. So this is a little bit bigger than most people are buying. They're usually buying the 2K, but I got the 5K, and it's pretty big. It fills this box up, but it's not overly big for this. Again, that's the old case, so I mean it was already pre-done, and I just decided to tear it all apart. So that's all my scrap pieces over there, and then I test fit here. I've got my gas tank, fuel tank here. That's all still connected like it was from the container down there. I've got my stock hoses here, my inlet, my vent hose, stuff like that. Got my LCD screen. Mine is remote. The remote's sitting over there. So for me, I've got a remote for mine, but I'm still going to wire this in so I can put it in the tent. I picked up some 6-inch L brackets, mounting hardware to go with them, all stainless steel. I got a 7-pin connector. 7-pin if you're going to put that in your tent or your camper van or wherever. If you're going to relocate this, you need the 7-pin. If you're only going to, if you have a remote like I do and you're gonna like mount that in the box, you only need a 2-pin to run to your battery. I picked up this wire here, which I will again wire into the 7-pin. I've got, and they sent me the wrong ones, but I'm gonna try them. Just some connectors here to clamp on the exhaust. They came plastic, and I thought I had ordered metal, but we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna order the metal ones, I think, anyway. I got a Hall throughway exhaust port, so this is what the exhaust will go to as it exits. I bought a PC fan just because I see a lot of people get overheating error codes. Exhaust tape, so I can wrap the exhaust, and then I'm gonna reuse some of my stuff that came with it. So I'll reuse that, of course, my exhaust, my cold air inlet, stuff like that. And then I've kind of got it mapped out a little bit how I want this. So I want it on its side here, and so my goal is to put this heater on my roof rack on top of the Prinzu rack. So when my tent's open, I just run a quick hose into my tent, and then everything's going to be on the roof and like flat, hard mounted, so I don't have to like take it out, put it on the ground, have this big hose. I just want to make it as short and as convenient as I can. So I'm going to mount it to the top, work it into my tent, and then what I'll do is for fuel. So for fuel, I got these diesel roto packs, and what I'm gonna do is add a fuel nozzle to one of the pieces. I want to make a fuel nozzle that goes into a piece like this that will go into the cap here. So when the cap's on, the fuel nozzle will stick out of basically where that red piece is, and all I'll have to do is flip the tank upside down, and there should be enough head pressure to feed the pump. And if I have to, I can add a vent on top, but goal is to use that for my fuel and not that. So we'll see how that goes. So I think the way I'm gonna do this is, I got it hard mounted. Well, right now it's just kind of soft mounted in here. I think I'm gonna mount it here so it'll lay flat, and then I will attach everything down here, and you know, all the vents and stuff. One note you should know about. So a huge note I saw, and I had my own questions about this, and I got them answered, was how do you mount this? Everybody says, you know, it's got to be upright with the vents down, because the glow plug. Well, you can mount this in two directions. Here's my glow plug, so I can mount it like this. The vent, the exhaust, and the fresh air intake are underneath. So what I'm going to do is mount it on the side. And notice my glow plug is still on the top, and my fuel is above my intake and exhaust. I know it's hard to see, but it's above, so we're good. So I can mount it like this, and then I can exhaust one. I'm gonna exhaust, I think, one something like this out, and I'll do the fresh air intake kind of this way, and then I'll mount the fuel pump at the appropriate angle here. And I'm not, like I said, a lot of people hard attach the fuel tank to their case, but their case has to be standing upright to run. I don't want that. I want this to be laying flat on the ground. So I'm going to run it like this. It'll be closed, hard mounted like this. So that's the goal. My only thing I think I missed, I got to cut this down. So that's 24 millimeter on that end, which is great because it fits perfectly on that. Well, I got to cut this in half, and this ribbed area is not 24, so I don't know that I'll be actually able to get it around this piece, because that's where I'm going to cut it. But we're going to try it. If not, I'll buy a new one of these off of Amazon, the appropriate length. They sell one that's 24 all the way through. Sorry for the loud noise, the heater's kicked on. So the first thing I did was I decided on my orientation of the heater. My glow plug is on top. I moved this wire so it would come out on top and not the bottom. I'm ensuring that my fuel line is above my exhaust and intake. So then I took my 6-inch L brackets, put them in. I made sure that I had roughly the same gap on both sides. Right now that cap doesn't matter, but I've got about the same space on each side. The second thing you want to do is measure, mark out your brackets. So I took a silver marker, I did the 3 holes. I also marked on the bottom of the mounting plate because the holes don't line up, so I'll have to re-drill holes. I will drill these out, and I will take my 1/4-20 nuts and bolts, bolt everything together. The next thing I'm going to do is I grabbed a 9/32 drill bit. It fits perfectly in the hole, so I'm going to drill out the mounting plate, and then I'll drill out the case. Alright, so I measured, marked, and drilled out my brackets for the heater. I attached the L brackets to the mounting plate, and I made sure the mounting plate was securely attached to the heater again. Just checked fitment. I have about 1.5 inches of space here and roughly 1.5 inches of space here. They're all drilled, lined up, looking good. So now I can, when I'm ready, I can attach my 1/4-20 nuts and bolts to securely mount this in place. I am going to also use this bracket to mount the fuel pump. So at some point, I'll be taking this apart. That will end up on this bracket, and I believe it'll probably go here someplace. It's got to be mounted at a certain angle, so once everything's in, I'm going to mount that last to have the angle correct. Now I'm going to measure out my intake and exhaust and where I'm going to drill through the sides. This is pretty obvious. I just got to center the hole here, just got to center the hole here. Because it's the bigger heater, the top of this comes real close to the lip. So the reason I have a gap here is because I'm going to drop and center my hole here a little bit so I'm below the lip. And that's what I'm going to use, wherever I put that. I'm going to use some of my vent duct as a gap filler here, so I can shift the hole down just 1/4. Same thing on this side. I'll remove this cap and then I'll shift the hole down a little bit, because if you slide all the way over, you can just see how close it comes to the lip here. So it's just easier to drop it and then just mount that tubing in there with a slight offset. But what I need to do is make sure that these come out flush and center to the hole, so I can put my, this can be mounted dead center like that somehow, except it'll be facing out. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so for the first thing that I'm gonna try, I've heard that cutting it here, I gotta shorten this exhaust pipe up, won't allow this end to fit on the haul through exhaust port, because the ribbed area is not 24 millimeters, where just this smooth piece is. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna cut it and try it. I'm sure that they're right. I'm gonna be stubborn and try it myself. And if I have to, I can pick up a piece on Amazon that is 24 all the way through, cut it to length, and be good to go. But I'm going to try it myself. I did is I connected this to my exhaust. I made this just flush with just the inside of the box, which means I'll probably end up cutting it back here someplace. But just to test the fitment of it, I'm gonna start here. Alright, so my fail one was not buying the exhaust port. I've tried pounding this in, I've tried widening this hole, tried to do everything to make it bigger. It's just really not working. Just collapsing this off. So I'll pick up a new exhaust hose. When that comes, I'll finish that part of the project. As you can see, it's a perfect fit. I just need both ends to be a perfect fit. So that was my first mistake. I will make sure to buy the hose. So now, instead of worrying about drilling the hole here, I'll worry about the fresh intake side, and I'll get the hole over there drilled. That, I'm not 100% sure exactly how I want to do this. Part of me wants to leave this inside. Part of me wants to put it on the outside. And then another part of me wants to make it detachable on the outside, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm going to work on it. Yeah, we'll find a way. Now, one of the things that I like doing when I'm dealing with different size pipes and stuff is test a hole. So had my fresh air intake. It looks like it's going to line up nicely. Probably drill it right about there. It'll be great. And I think what I'm going to do is stick this end through, and then I'll find a way to secure that end pokes out, secure it on the outside so it doesn't pull through. But I thought I had read that it was going to be a 3/4 inch hole, and I'm glad I drilled one. So I have one here. It says 3/4. And I always do test holes, so I got a scrap piece of wood over here. And I always do test holes. So there's my 3/4 inch hole, and it's way too small. So I actually measured the opening. It's a 1 inch hole. I have a still 1 inch, and that fits in there nicely. It's gonna be a little tight because I have that screen on there, but the other end fits nice. So now that I know that that's gonna be a 1 inch hole, I can drill that out and I can get this secured. Now, I'm glad it was bigger and I didn't go the 1 inch and then find out that it needed to be smaller. Not the end of the world, but I'm trying to make this weather resistant, and I am trying to make this look clean. So I like test drilling holes before everything, just to make sure that everything's gonna fit accordingly. So little life hack, get a scrap piece of wood and test out your holes. So I think right about there is where I'm gonna drill a 1 inch hole. So I wanted to drill that hole. I kind of marked it right there, and I'm glad I double checked because it was actually going to come through the cover. So I'll just move the hole over a little bit, and I'll drill it right beside the latch. So double check the sides again, measure twice, cut once. All right, so drilled my 1 inch hole. I stuck out the end. If you're wondering why I have this little bit of fabric over it, it's really to keep small bugs from crawling in it when it's off. Just so, like, while it's in storage, especially at the house, the mice aren't really freely walking in there. I'm sure they could chew that away real easy. But I just put it back on. I put the new zip tie on there. It's nice and tight. It actually should hold that filter from coming out. That's a snug fit anyway. That's not going anywhere. I think it came out real nice. Now I can put the heater back in, cut my pipe to length, and connect that. Alright guys, so my fresh air intake pipe, I measured it, got it down to length, and then I used a box cutter to cut it. I got a clean cut all the way around. This stuff is so fragile that I find a box cutter is the perfect tool to cut this. Now we're gonna get it installed. All right, so I measured it. I did measure it a little longer than I normally would, but I wanted to have some flexibility with it moving and stuff. So this side, all right, so this one just slides right on with a hose clamp. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll get a hose clamp and then I'll pop that on. And this actually twists on, so the heater I got, that screws into this. So it's snug, but I'm able to still rotate this. It'll screw on, and I'm still gonna put a hose clamp on this just to add some extra bite so it doesn't pull off. You could probably also get away with a zip tie if you don't have a hose clamp. And if I can't find my hose clamp, I'm gonna zip tie it. So it's a little long, but getting the extra bend will have some wiggle room in there. It won't look too bad once it's on. I probably could have gone a little bit shorter, but I didn't want to put too much of a bend on my pipe, so it has a nice open flow. All right, doesn't look too bad. I get a nice bend, not too tight. I screwed this on, and I opted for the zip tie. There's not a whole lot to bite onto, and you don't need a ton of pressure on this. So I actually thought a zip tie might crush or tear this delicate pipe, so I went with the zip tie option, and it's on there securely. I like how it's nice and flush here, so I don't have a whole lot on the outside sticking out. So I'll tighten that clamp down. Again, I gotta wait for the exhaust hose to come so I can plumb that, but that'll be the same thing on this side. And I'm gonna get these screws in as soon as I get these holes cut. So these are my next two holes to cut open. All right, so now I'm gonna put my two 3-inch holes in for the Hey guys, day 2 of my install. I got a fair amount done yesterday, but like I said, I needed to change out that exhaust pipe. So I ordered one that's 24 millimeter all the way through, so it'll fit. I got the fresh air intake hose installed, so now I'm going to be drilling out my vents. So I'm going to be doing 2 at 3-inch, and then I've decided to go with these guys. These guys came last night, so I can close this. But these are just added ventilation so that the box doesn't get too hot. I don't expect it to be getting super hot where it would throw an error code, but just to let it breathe a little bit better as it's closed up internally. So we're gonna be installing those today. So I marked out my holes. I used the flange piece, which they're finally sending me some metal ones. This is plastic, and I do think this would probably melt. So I finally do have metal ones coming, the exact same size. So I marked out my holes so I can drill out my attachment points, drill out the hole, and then we're gonna use, like I said, we're gonna use some dryer vent with some clamps to link these two together. All right, I got my holes drilled. Fairly straight line in. I've got my bolts in, so these aren't the ones I'm going to use. They're just kind of test fitting everything in. They need to be a hair bit longer. But what I did is you're going to sandwich these two pieces together, put a little silicone around it, make sure it's rated for high temp, and then what I'm going to do is take that dryer vent and just make a little connecting bridge here. These are off. I mean, if you were to slide it up, it's just off a hair, which isn't a big deal, but it allows this to be center to the box so you're not cutting into the lid. So we're gonna cut a piece of dryer vent, clamp it onto here, do the same thing on this side. So what I did is I'll take this off, put a dryer vent on, and then I'm gonna reuse this piece to go in there. And what I'll do is I'll secure it on the back side, and I'll be able to draw fresh air in on this side, angled down so like rain and stuff won't be an issue. Again, it's a little bit off as well, so I'll use more dryer vent to connect those two pieces. Alright, the next thing I did was on my heater, on the intake side, it had a little screen. It screws onto this port here, which kept the cover on. So what I did is I took and just zip tied the cover down, removed this, cut myself a short section of dryer hose, and because it's got a groove to it, you can actually screw this on. And what I'll do is I'm going to screw it on, and then I'm going to zip tie this again to this port. Probably could get away with just screwing this on and zip tying it all together, but I thought I'd give this a shot here. If I can't get that on tight enough, I'll cut that off. I already test fit this. I know it goes all the way in, and then I can zip tie it. And then I can zip tie this piece to this on the inside, because that will fit. Alright, so before my battery dies, I gotta go charge this one now. Quick update on the heater. I got the 5-pin installed. I got that soldered. A little bit of a pain, but I got it done. That was just tedious. I made a makeshift count. I don't know if you can see it, but I just what color went to what pin. That way when I do the other half, they match up, which is what I'm doing right now. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this wire loom that I got off Amazon. It's 100 feet of 1/2-inch wire loom, and I'm going to it's a 1/2-inch wire loom. I've got 100 feet of it. I'm gonna slide this all the way down the entire length. So what I did is I took my positive and negative, my main power feed, which will go to like my jackery. And then what I did is I took and added 3 different colors One's like a pink, one's a red, and one's a black with it. And what that'll do is it'll connect to the LCD screen, which if you look has 3 different colors. Now they used a blue, a black, and a red. So I'll find out which one is positive, negative, and then the control, which I'm pretty sure is the blue. And then what I'll do is the other end of this line here will be the plug that matches that. And then this with the plug will be kind of by the jackery. We can keep that in the tent for controlling. I have the remote, but what I don't have is you can't tell what your temperatures are. You just go up and down. So being able to have this and a remote will be nice. Not super important to really have this in the tent with us, but I think it'll make it more convenient. Because I was gonna mount it up here and then it would just be a backup. So again, the plug, the nice tight fit. Hard to see. What I did is I just cut the factory. I popped all the pins out first, then I cut them, and then I just made little extensions. So I just got like little 2-inch extensions here that I was able to pull this out, pull those through, do all my soldering, push this back in, bolt it into place. All the pins are in there, nothing's touching them. They all sit underneath this, and then I will cut the 2 white wires here, connect them up to this. This is for the pump, and I will run that around the edge. I'm going to put the pump here and then fish out my fuel line. So a lot still going on, but right now getting the other plug set aside and done while I wait for my exhaust piece and my 2 metal flanges for that, and then I'll be done. Hey guys, today I believe is day 3. I've been working on this in between other projects around the house, so I'm still waiting for some parts to show up, but just show you what I got done next. So I just installed the through-hole exhaust port, very easy, just lined up where I want it to be. So what I used is my old exhaust as a template. Because I liked how well that angle is, I just lined it straight up. So as you can see, it's square on. So I'm still going to use that. Still going to use this exhaust as a template when I get the new one in to cut it to length and get the correct angle here. So that is all ready to go in once I get the new piece. Just got it fully secured. I will loosen that when I get the new piece so I can make all this work. I've got the L brackets secured to the case now. What's up, guys? I don't know what day we're on. I've been waiting for parts for a couple weeks now. I finally got some in, so back to the diesel build. Got my exhaust hose in. It's 24mm all the way through, so I'll be able to connect it to my through-hull exhaust port. I'm going to use my exhaust that came with it. This is the perfect length right here. I think I got to trim maybe 1/2 inch off this to really make it a perfect fit. I'm going to use this as a template to bend that pipe. As you can see, we got this installed. Very easy. Like I said before, we just used this to go over. It's all nice and flush. It looks good on this side, so we're going to cut this exhaust pipe down, match the bend here, length, and then get that installed. Alright, so just got done wrapping my exhaust with some exhaust wrap. I got it zip tied while I dries, as I'm fitting some clamps on it. Just got to get them wide enough to go over that. So they're zip tied for now. I would suggest buying the 1-inch. I got the 2-inch, and I had some difficulties going around the corners. It kind of doesn't sit super tight. So 1-inch might be a lot more easy for the smaller pipe, but it's wrapped. Alright guys, so I got my fuel pump installed. All I did was find a 45-ish degree angle, drill the hole, put a bolt through it. The washer, I shortened up my fuel line here. I will probably redo this fuel line to a better one and add a fuel filter, but for now it's direct feed just like it was in the factory case, but I will probably add a filter as good measure. Fuel line comes out this box here into this quick connect. Fuel line comes into this port here to quick connect. So I gotta push it on, be able to push it off. This will go to the fuel tank. I rewired this because I wasn't sure where I was putting the pump, so I just respliced the pump back into the main harness. I used some just some wire hangers to stick on. The exhaust wrap is drying. It is on. It came with these nice little clamps, so hopefully they'll hold up. I'm going to test this all before I actually take it out anywhere. Alright guys, just got this thing fired up for a test run. You can tell the exhaust is getting hot. It's steaming off with a little bit of water left in the wrap. The pump is working. I think I got a little bit of an air bubble. But my guess is that air bubble is actually coming from this. This is just a temporary setup while I'm running it from there. I've got good suction here, good suction there. I got nice warm heat coming out of this. I have the exhaust temporarily run through there and kind of out my window. But so far this is a go. This is a good setup right now. I'm currently drawing, wow, that reflection's bad. Well, I'm drawing 44 watts. Well, it's still trying to get up the temperature, so that's not too bad. But I think I'm gonna shut this down, finish up with the last few vents and the little fan, and once I get the last of the parts, I'm gonna work on my fuel supply line and call it a day. I think this is gonna work out just fine. Sam just directed the air down so it's floating around, but so far, so good. Overall, I think it came out really well. I think, you know, if I was to do it again, I'd make very few changes, but overall, this is exactly what I was hoping for. I think this is going to work out really well, whether it stays on the roof rack or I put it somewhere else. I made the line here long enough to go 14-ish feet, so I should be all set to put this pretty much anywhere I want. We're gonna go give this a bunch of test runs, make sure everything does hold up well and nothing melts, catches fire, anything like that, and hopefully we'll be using it the first week of March on another snow run that we have in the books. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it's installed. Just tighten the cap and everything's good to go. The one thing I do check is I flip it upside down to make sure there's no leaks. This isn't seated just right. It can leak by a little bit, so a little bit of adjustment usually makes it all work perfect. Again, this is already full of fuel, so there really shouldn't be a whole lot to prime. Just plug it in and we're good to go. Alright guys, this has been a journey trying to get this diesel heater tuned in just right. We leave in 2 days. Saturday morning we leave for our trip. I'm doing my last test run, so what I had to do is, this is what I was using on the Rotopack, flipping the Rotopack upside down. The one thing I was having issues with were the vacuum that the Rotopack creates, and then basically the heater was using all the fuel in the line, and then it was just going out. So I had to go back to the old fuel tank for now until I can figure out and rig up a breather for the Rotopack, which I don't think it'll be impossible. I just need to work on it. I need more time. I don't have that time. So I threw that little fuel nozzle back in the original tank. I'm trying to use up the last little bit of fuel today. I'll bring the Rotopack, which I'll have plenty of diesel for the one-night trip. Other than that, the diesel's working great. I just need to get that roto pack squared away. With more time, I'll have it dialed in, but everything else is working really well, so we're just gonna run with it for this weekend. Again, I'm doing my last trial run right now, but really it's just to use the fuel in the line. I'll show you that. Just a little bit of fuel left in that. I primed it, which I over flooded it a little bit. That's why it's so smoky. That'll go away in a few minutes. Other than that, everything's looking good. It's working well. The whole setup looks real nice in there. I haven't had any issues with overheating. It's compact. This will added exhaust actually is kind of nice. I can point it where I want it, and once I get my exhaust filter pipey thingy on it, it should be a lot quieter. But I'm going to run it this way this weekend. I hope that this video kind of shows you a step-by-step on how to put a Chinese diesel heater into a box, a tote, whatever you want to call these things. Really simple to do. It's pretty cheap. And again, I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out this video. Please give this a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to do this yourself, please click on those links. I am not sponsored by anything, so they're just there for you. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and share. Already the smoke's gone. The whole entire heater just changed its tune, so it's now running good. So stay tuned for this weekend's video, and we'll see what it does on the trail while we're using it. It's a quick overnight trip, but again, it's gonna be really cold, so we hope that this will work and last all night. If not, bring in that heated blanket just to be on the safe side. Can't wait. Till the next one.